Sorry for not uploading last Friday. I just could not focus on anything, so apologies for that. Just being honest, I spent most of the day scrolling on TikTok and Twitter that day, and then the latter half of the day I spent watching horror movies made by women and feminine presenting people because I just wanted to do that on Friday. So I figured I'd make a video out of that at least and tell you what I watched and give you some recommendations. If you hear whining or that kind of noise, Daisy is in the room with me. She insisted on being in here. So first thing I watched was a feature-length film. I finally watched Master, which came out earlier this year. It's directed by Mariama Diallo and follows two women of color, one a new student and one a tenured professor at a prestigious New England university. I really loved this one. The dark academia vibes were obviously present, but with a twist of social commentary, which is something I obviously really love about the horror genre. I was so utterly uncomfortable the entirety of the movie, and I know like any normies would probably not know why we find that enjoyable, but I know you guys understand. I'll wait until my June wrap-up stream to get into all the spoilery details, but I thought the ending, without saying anything really, it was devastating and powerful. So right after watching Master, I immediately wanted to watch something else from the same director, and I noticed she had only 3 other short films to her name, 2 of which I couldn't find anywhere, but one I could was Harewolf. And oh my god, did I love it. I feel like everyone should just go watch it, and I don't want to say too much about the plot. It's a scary story that takes place in a hair salon, and that's all I'll say about that. The film itself though looked stunning. It was giving me Giallo vibes and I was here for it. The humor was really deadpan, but there were also a lot of kind of like cheesy humor moments thrown in that like it was just a really good balance of both. That's what made it fun, and my only gripe with this movie is that I wish it was longer. Case editor Vicky didn't put it up on the screen already. I will provide links to all of the short films that I watched. The links will be in the description. They're not affiliate links or anything like that, but just in case you wanted to check any of them out. They're all short films, so they're quick watches. I highly recommend all of these. All right, so after that, I checked out Suicide by Sunlight, which I think is just an amazing title for literally anything. In case you couldn't tell from the title, it is a take on vampirism, specifically a black woman who is a daywalking vampire. There's a little news like snippet in the short that lets on that these vampires that have melanated skin are able to walk in the daylight. I loved this exploration of vampirism as being like the other in society. On top of that, Valentina is a nurse, so I really loved the conflict between her character being both a caregiver and a predator. That is set off even more by Valentina's husband, who isn't allowing her to see her daughters because of what she is. Like, it all culminates in this conflict that women and feminine presenting people, especially Black, brown, and indigenous women and feminine presenting people, have of being perceived as other, as a predator, while also having to be caregivers as well. So Suicide by Sunlight, while amazing, was pretty heavy. So right after, I wanted to watch something a little bit lighter, so I found The Lonely Host, which is a darkly comedic story about a lonely woman who hosts guests in her apartment as an Airbnb. Honestly, she just wanted friends. It was giving very much May vibes. Like, I know I'm not supposed to be rooting for her, but she was just lonely and she just wanted somebody to watch a Great British Baking Show with. And honestly, is that so much of an ask? Like I would survive in this situation because I love the Great British Baking Show, so I would totally be down to hang out with her and just watch that all day. Right, then I watched Wake, which I cannot stress enough how fucking beautiful this short film was. Big Southern Gothic magical realism vibes. Similar to The Lonely Host, our protagonist in Wake, Charmaine, is really just a lonely and isolated woman. So she turns to root work to help fill the void in her heart. So there is a kind of, you know, thread of be careful what you wish for going on in here. Through the events of the short film, Charmaine learns what it really means to be able to take control over your life, over your body, over your relationships. So not only was it like a beautifully devastating story, it was, again, can't stress this enough, beautifully shot film. It is truly gorgeous, and the fact that the director Bree Newsome hasn't made anything since this is honestly, it's a crime against humanity. And finally, I watched The Boogie Woman, which was definitely appropriate for last Friday. This short film, it very much encompasses at least like the surface level of what women and feminine presenting people go through. Doesn't really take into account intersectionality, but it's kind of got a very broad scope, like men being grossed out by women's bodies while simultaneously wanting to have control over them, like make it make sense. And sadly, this short also has moments of women tearing each other down in order to seem more appealing to men. Like, ew. I did see some criticism for this short on Letterboxd for a lack of resolution. Not saying that they're wrong, but I did not get that vibe when I watched this short. Ending very much just felt like, okay, we know what happens after this moment, and it didn't feel like we needed to go there because, again, we knew what was happening. I really liked the like kind of cliffhangery but very understated ending. So there you have it. Just a short little video about some horror movies and horror short films I watched recently. Again, the links to all of the short films I mentioned will be in the description if you want to watch them for yourself, which I highly recommend because short horror is fun horror. If you have any short horror suggestions that you really love, definitely share them in the comment section, at least by name. If you try and share a link, it may end up in held for review. So if you don't see your comment right away because you tried to add a YouTube link, that might be why. I'll just have to go through and approve them. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Become a creepy peep today. I'll see you very soon with a new video or something. Until then, stay strange. Bye.